We're we're waiting. Some people are joining. Hello, I like to see everyone is already chatting. Let's keep doing this.
Hello, guys.
Hello, Eduardo. Welcome back. So for who is already here, why don't we do a quick check-in? How are you doing today? How are you? You can open your mic. Eduardo, since you were our first attendee, how is your day today? Not here.
Hi, everyone. Sorry. Zoom just
Hi,
crashed
Jorge.
on me.
Hi, Linda. Welcome.
Hi, good to see you all.
Nice to see you. So let's give 3 more minutes for people to join us. How are you doing, Linda? How is your day today?
Thank you. I'm all good. I'm from Latvia, so greetings from Latvia. Yeah, it would be nice to hear where you all from.
That's great also. We have people from all parts of the world today here with us. That's great. How about you, Jorge? How are you?
Fine. Struggling a little bit with Zoom. I haven't used it in a while, and it's crashing on me. I don't know why. Yeah, it seems to be working now, so I won't touch it.
We can hear you very well and see you. So I think we are fine. We have another participant with Linda.
A mini special
Yeah.
guest.
Yeah, there are two little ones. Well, there is not yet all the important stuff. I'm here with them. So this is the little one. Say hi.
Hi.
And this is the other son. Hi.
Hello.
And this is the third one.
They are assisting on the birth of the artificial intelligence age, and they will live it more than us.
Yeah, I was participating in service design next generation conference, and they were announced as
Another
the
special
youngest
guest.
attendee.
Just so,
Hi,
they're not alone. Here's one. I have another one who's younger.
yeah.
But here's saying
Look at this.
So the fathers
There's a boy.
of the artificial intelligence and the sons of this era.
Yeah, look a boy. Okay, I see. We are a lot here. Not only the faces that are on the screen, there is also in the background a lot of little ones.
Yes.
Okay, nice. So let's start because we have a tight schedule today. And while people are joining, we'll start with a quick introduction about Service Design Network. I gently ask you, all of you, to shut down your audio, your microphone, please, and let just the speakers with the microphone on. So welcome everyone. We are starting our webinar Service Design Doing Good on the AI Age. We have our special guests today with us, James and Jorge Só. Welcome, you two. We are very happy to have you with us. Let's go through our agenda today. So we are starting now. We are 5-6 minutes late, but we expect to go through some presentations, some panel questions, and a final Q&A from the audience. So please write down your question on the chat whenever you want to, and we'll be collecting your questions to share at the end of this meeting, okay? And that's it. It's like a half and 20 minutes of session, but I think it's gonna be too short because we have like very experienced professionals with us and a lot to talk about. So it's gonna be a quick call, and I hope you all enjoy and get the best of it. So welcome from Service Design Network. Just for you who doesn't know us, we are the Portugal's chapter of this network. What is Service Design Network? So we are a volunteer-led nonprofit organization. All here are working pro bono after work, and we all have like our own jobs besides this. We are a global community throughout 47 chapters and more than 1,200 community members with different expertise, a lot of followers throughout worldwide. We have three main pillars: Service Design Network, it's business, community, and knowledge. So knowledge is about sharing the best practices, sharing knowledges regarding service design, and like forcing this kind of content with the community. The community pillar means that we want to be close to the people interested in service design, not only professionals, but also people who are just getting into the area, interested on this topic, on this conversation. So we want to be close to you. So anyone who wants to talk to us, join us, share content with us, please do that. We have our doors open to the community, and we want to promote other kind of discussions. And also business, there is like linking different business, raising the aware regarding service design to the business, make them know the value of service design, okay? And today, after like a long break, so Service Design Network was on hold for the past 2 years due to pandemic. We have a new team today. So I'm Luisa Pessoa, and I'm here with Huti. Huti,
Hi.
say hi.
Hello, everyone.
So I'm here with Huti, and we also have Elsa, who is not here yet, but she'll be joining us in a while. And we are happy to come back with a Service Design Network in Portugal. And I hope that this community is close to us at this restarting point, okay? So join us, follow us. We have our social media, we have your email, ask questions, send us content, propose ideas of what we can do, send us people that want to bring to discuss different themes. Okay, we want to listen from you. And that's it. That's a very fast overview on what service design is. Get in touch if you want to know something more. And now, meet our guests, Jason and Jorge. Ruti, please.
Yes, I will continue. It is with great enthusiasm, actually, that we receive Jason and George in this talk. Someone who has knowledge and experience and are an inspiration for us. So I don't know, Jason, George, do you want to present yourselves for the team? Very
Sure,
briefly.
George, please
Very
go ahead.
briefly.
Yeah, I'll be brief. Hi, I'm Jorge Só. I've been a designer for 20 plus years now. I'm a product designer at Accenture Song. And I have a dog. I have a cat. And they will probably turn up later somehow. The cat is already here stalking me. So yeah, that's me. If you have any questions after this call, feel free to reach out and connect with me.
Great, thank you, George. It will be a pleasure if you have the opportunity to know your cat and your dog during this meeting. Jason, tell us about you.
It's an honor to be here. I'm Jason. I live in Florida in the United States. I don't have as much experience as Jorge, but I've been a designer since about 2017, and I've been working with conversational AI since 2020. And I'm currently a lead UX and conversation designer at Santander Bank. It's not the same that you might have in Spain or Europe or Portugal, depending on, it's the US one. But yeah, I'm very honored to be here. It's nice to meet you all.
Okay, thank you. Deep down, I think it will be a little bit more or less at what we do in Europe or Portugal. But yeah, thank you for accepting our invitation, George and Jason. It was an honor to us too, and for you to participate in this revamp of the Service Design Network Portugal. It is really important to us. Thank you. And now let's talk about artificial intelligence. Jason has a presentation prepared called Conversational Experience in the Age of GPT-4. So, Jason, the stage is yours.
All right, thank you. And I'm very animated, so I'm sorry if maybe I'll bring too much energy, but I'm excited to be here. So I'm actually going to turn my headphone off because
No, we can't hear you.
How about now? Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Yes,
perfect.
yes,
Yes.
it's fine.
Go
Okay,
on, guys.
there's some audio that I want you all to be able to hear as well. Beautiful. Okay, so let me share my screen. I have 10 minutes, I understand, correct?
Yes.
More or less. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but don't worry about it. Yeah, I think everybody can stay here a little bit longer.
So just stop me when I have, if you don't mind, when I have like 3 or 4 minutes left, just stop me. I've made this very short, but just stop me. So can you all see my screen? Should be like a blue presentation. Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. All right. So conversational experiences in the age of GPT-4. So just to be clear, I'm here as Jason, not as Santander, so that I don't, lose my job or anything. This is just, I'm here as Jason, okay? So actually, and I forgot that I had prepared this for you all because I'm so excited. Hold on a second. I have a better introduction. Hold on. Let me share my screen. I'm going to share everything now.
Boa noite, SDN Portugal. É uma honra passar alguns minutos com você hoje. Peço antecipadamente desculpa por apresentar o resto da minha apresentação em inglês. Eu também não pareço assim.
Okay. So obviously I don't look as nice as that lady, but it's very nice to be here with you. So that is I just created that like half an hour ago. I found a tool. What I was originally going to do was record my voice and then have my voice speak Portuguese, but I don't want to upload my own voice to the Skynet AI, for the future. So I didn't do it, but there are tools even now where you could translate your voice and it would sound like you in a different language with all this generative AI. So, okay, so welcome. So there are three things that I want to talk about. What's conversation design? What are large language models? And then during the Q&A, we can talk a bit more about our theme, which is, what should we consider when building AI for good, particularly related to large language models. I won't be talking about the opportunities, how's the world going to change? I'm also not going to talk about the implications and the risks, which are very important to cover, but because of time, I'm just giving you a quick view of what's out there, but there's a lot more that I won't cover. I'm making some assumptions. So I am assuming that you know what artificial intelligence is at a high level. And I'm also assuming, since this is the Service Design Network, that you have a concept of what design is in general and web design in particular, even though I know, of course, it's much larger than web design. To be clear, I'm not an expert. Like, you're not talking to someone with a machine learning master's degree from MIT, but I do have experience, right? I've been working with conversational AI since 2020. We can talk about a little bit more what that actually means. So why are we as a group talking about this topic? This quote is something that I think is directly relevant. Designers tend to care about people as people instead of just as prospects or customers. So what does this mean? So I'm not saying that you have to be a designer in order to see the humanity in other people or to be a good human, right? But I am saying that we as designers, and perhaps even especially service design, have a unique perspective and an important responsibility to not just be distracted by the shiny tech, right? We have to think about how what we're building is impacting people. And so that's an opportunity for us. I always, anytime I'm talking about AI or ChatGPT, I'd like to call out my own list of biases. It's super important. This is a great book where it talks about kind of some of the issues with machine learning. So I like to cover, especially for this context, I'm American, I'm African American, I speak English, I grew up middle class, right? I'm heterosexual, I'm religious. So all of those different things, and of course, in many other ways in my experiences, they may, I bring a bias to how I see the world. And so I need to, in my design work, be aware of those biases and interact with people different than me to be aware of maybe biases that I don't see, right? And it's super important when it comes to this large language models and AI and machine models and et cetera. Why do I mention this? This is a classic in the AI alignment conversation where Google this is pretty old now, but Google was labeling for images of people with darker skin as gorillas, right? And so this is not to say that Google was evil or bad or racist, right? But it's just perhaps during the design and the development of this model, questions weren't asked about, okay, what are some things we need to think about, right? This is why it's important. So language as interface. So what does it mean to design an experience for a conversational interface? Some of you may be familiar. This is the Elements of User Experience by Jesse James Garrett, right? So the experience sits on all of these different architecting, this scaffolding. All the fundamental things stay the same. The user needs, specs, information architecture. Conversation design, so things like virtual assistants and chatbots, we're taking that visual design layer and we're changing it from a graphical user interface to a conversational text-based user interface a lot of times. So what does this look like? So there's a great book that I will reference. It's called Conversations with Things, UX Design for Chat and Voice, which is where I'm getting these things. So when we talk about what a conversational interface is, it's where language is the primary input and output. The nature of the interaction is back and forth. The person's input is similar to how you'd say it to another person. And the system's input is meant to mimic natural language. So if we're thinking about, okay, what does it mean to design a conversation? Because although we are talking about AI, I'm talking more, I want to introduce you more broadly to designing like a text-based chatbot type of interaction. What does that mean? So here's some examples, right? So this is the chatbot, but this is in SMS or text message, right? Or Apple iMessage. So oftentimes we think about chatbots in the context of a website or an app, but just remember, you could also have that in a SMS. And you also remember those old school IVRs, interactive voice response, where you call a company and it says, hello, right? That's also right for, that's conversation design, right? You're using words and language. You're not using pictures and images, right? So I want to play something for you.
Thank you for choosing Avis.
Can you hear that?
This call may be recorded for quality purposes.
Para continuar en español, diga español.
Is this Jason?
Yes.
It's great to hear back from you. Are you calling about a new reservation?
Yes.
New reservation. If that's not right, say go back. Great. Let me quickly get some basic information and then I'll connect you with a representative. Please say your 6-character Avis Wizard number. Or you can also say, hold on. If you don't have one, just say I don't have it.
Q2661V.
I heard Q2661V.
Okay, I'll stop it right there. So normally I would open this for you all to give me feedback, but our time is short, so I won't do that. But what I wanted to point out, especially from a service design perspective, okay, a couple things. When I called the phone number, because of my user profile, it recognized me, right? If it said, hey, Jason, I didn't tell it I was Jason. It said, hey, Jason, nice to talk to you, right? But why then, if it knows who I am, why did it ask me for my like customer ID number, which is this Q2 number? And then for the conversational, especially voice interface, I don't know about you, but when the robot spoke back to me to confirm the number, the Q and the 2 sounded very similar. It sounded like it said QQ or 22, right? So from an overall design perspective, for like the services that we're implementing, you know, having someone like a service designer say, hey, wait, maybe the user numbers that we assign to people because of this voice interface, we really need to make sure that it'll be legible on the voice interface. So the numbers themselves have to be thought of in this context. Okay. How am I doing on time? How much more time do I have? Maybe like 2 minutes. Oh, sorry, I'm not hearing you.
Oh,
Okay.
Go on, Jason.
go
Yeah.
on, yes,
Yeah,
go
sorry.
on.
I couldn't hear it. Go ahead,
I think
please.
I
Yeah.
need like
It's
5
great.
minutes and it should be 5 minutes and I should be good. Okay, so I know, I'm assuming that many of you all know about what AI is. So so deep learning is a subset of neural networks, which is a subset of machine learning, which is a subset of artificial intelligence. I'm saying this, and large language models, which like ChatGPT is one, is a subset of deep learning. So there's all these things floating around. Just know that all of the words on the screen are AI. And then there's different types of them, and we can talk about, but that's for another day. But just know, okay, a large language model is deep learning, which is a type of neural network, which is machine learning, which is artificial intelligence. Okay. So what's the big deal about LLMs? And this, I put all these words on the screen because I think they're pretty important. So before, research in different tasks and modalities like vision and language were often done with different technical approaches. Okay, vision researchers studied topics like signal processing, while language researchers studied language grammar. So a foundation model, like a foundation large language model with deep learning, leverages the incredible scaling to train one model that can perform many tasks. So before, you'd have one technology to like figure out what an image is. You'd have one technology to translate, words to text or whatever. Foundation models are using the same technology to do a lot of different things. So that's kind of what's new with large language models and why there's all this new activity. What is GPT? GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. And this pre-trained piece, I think we'll end up talking about, or I would like to talk about when we talk about doing AI for good, because that means that there's something called reinforced human learning and feedback. And basically we need humans to help make ChatGPT smart. So even though you're talking to a robot, there are still human beings that are involved at every step of the way. And so there's implications for that from an AI for good. This is a thing called transformer. We'll skip that. As I'm ramping down here, so there's 3 more things I want to show you, I think. So what actually, let's say you know what AI is. This video, it's a 3-hour video, but I think is the clearest way to understand what ChatGPT is doing. Okay. It's an article called "What is ChatGPT Doing and Why Does It Work?" by Stephen Wolfram. He's this crazy computer science smart guy. So this is actually using GPT-2 model. And the takeaway is that using probability, I've heard it quoted like this: large language models in ChatGPT, it's really more like applied statistics than anything else. So it is assuming, so what you're looking at on the screen is Stephen put in this sentence: the best thing about AI is its ability to, and then it says, hey, generate the next word, just like ChatGPT would, but instead of just giving me the next word, I want you to give me the top 50 most probable words that the model would generate. And so what it's actually doing is every single word with super fast computers, it's showing, it's saying, okay, well, based on this string of text, learn is the most probable next word that I think we should use. And then after learn, it's predict. So if you think about it, right? The best thing about AI is its ability to learn. The best thing about AI is its ability to predict. The best thing about AI is its ability to make. All those things make sense, right? It could have went in those different directions. But because learn was the highest probable, that's the sentence we got. And if you see down below here, we see that the sentence it eventually made was, the best thing about AI is its ability to learn from experience. It's not just a matter, and then it goes on. So essentially, this is what ChatGPT is doing when it's generating text from billions of parameters and all this other stuff. So and now I'm getting to the end here. So what are the implications for this? So if you were designing with, and I skipped over totally, like, what are the design principles for designing for conversational interface versus the regular UI, UX. So, in UI, UX, you would have maybe, you have layout and color and topography, right? In conversation design, you're thinking about linguistics and the cooperative principle and turn taking. So it's a different medium. I skipped all that stuff. But what I do want to show you in closing is, this is an example of of a Watson assistant, which is like your pre large language model chatbot, still using AI, still using natural language understanding, natural language processing. But in order to make it smart, this is what it looks like. So I have a bunch of intents here. Intents are like little buckets where I'm saying, hey, here's a bunch of, let's see if I, oh, you know what? It's not, I need to make my window bigger because the image is, oh, hold on. You're not gonna be able to see. Okay, I'm just gonna show you this for now because our time is short. So what it does is, using natural language understanding, it takes inputted text and it says, okay, based on what the user has inputted, I think you're saying this sort of thing. And I'm putting you in a bucket of the sorts of things that you're saying. And then it says, okay, are you asking me something that's related to the store hours? Let me go down this tree, which is, an algorithm is just decision tree. Do this or that, this or that. And then it says, okay, I think you're asking me about this bucket of things, so I'm going to give you this answer. And then I can, if you said, for example, like Christmas, then I can even say there's a variable and I say we're closed on Christmas, right? What I wanted to show you is these are examples of, hold on, I'm going to stop my sharing. So I'll skip that. So in closing, what I'm going to show you is, what does this look like now? So before I had to like architect all these things, and it can get, especially if you have a big application, it can get pretty intense, right? So what does this look like if for an LLM? So I need like 2 more minutes here. Let me share my screen. I'm going against the rules that Huti and Luisa told me. I'm sorry. I'm being bad here. Okay.
No, you're great.
Check this out. And I haven't even tested this. Okay, I haven't even tested this. So I'm gonna take the SDN about website. I'm just gonna copy it. Okay. And let's go to the playground. I'm going to, let me move this over. Let's use the chat model. And I'm going to say, you are the chatbot of an organization called SDN Portugal. You answer questions from the information from their website below. Let's paste all that. I'm not even going to format it. And then I'm going to give it a little test. I'm going to say, what is, okay. What are some of the benefits of joining SDN Portugal? And then assuming I'm going to make like I'm the assistant, I'm going to say, you can benefit from the community. Okay, so now check this out. So I'm going to ask a question now. I'm going to say, so I've essentially just built a chat bot. So I'm going to say, can you tell me about SDN Portugal? Submit. Oh, it operates on the 3 pillars: community, business, knowledge. Oh, it aims to engage practitioners. Oh, overall, it aims to have a significant impact. Then I can do, let's ask something more specific. Let's say, let me add a message. We'll say, whoops, no, don't do that. Sorry, I have too many things going on. Let me move this out of the way. Just one more, just so you can see. So I'm going to say, who are important people for the organization? Oh, okay, great. And I don't even think it was labeled that well here, right? So what it's doing is it's instead of on the conversation design side, it's using, I'm going to stop there. So this shows you some of the, just to recap. So I briefly told you about conversation design. it's this thing that is, it's like UX and UI design, but we're designing for communication instead of for screens. I talked a little bit about generative AI, what it is. And then I showed in one example why large language models, even though we've had AI in the past, why large language models, now that they've come on the scene, there's so much innovation. And it's because we were using AI before to do things like understanding what people mean, but there's a lot less that you have to architect. And of course, now there's more implications, much more things could go wrong now, et cetera, et cetera. But thanks for giving me extra time, and I'll turn it over back to the team.
No problem.
Wow, great.
We will catch up.
I think it's totally worth it. I think we're everybody very, very engaged with your presentation. Thank you very much, Jason. Thank you. So we have some comments on chat. If you want to follow up, you have already Linda thanking you. And everyone in this meeting, if you want to chat, if you want to put down some questions here, we'll be reading, okay? So yeah, thank you, Jason. We have some questions here just to foster this conversation between you, Jorge as well. Jorge, do you want to add something to this introduction?
No. Jason did a great presentation. I'm not going to ruin it.
Okay. So let me share my screen again. And now we are going to make you some questions regarding these topics, and then we're gonna add our audience questions as well. So let's start talking about what are the essential elements to ensure the humanization of services with the presence of artificial intelligence. Jorge, do you wanna start this one?
Yeah, sure. Well, it's an expansion of our daily work, I think, from my assumption as well. We on our daily work, we have to make sure that the products that we help to release are empathetic. I think it's a big word that you probably will listen a lot regarding AI. They have to be the data that the bots are feeding on has to be unbiased. It's another word, and a very important word regarding that, because biased data will always bring to users bad results. So it's really important for you when designing this type of applications to make sure that the data the client you're working with is as thorough as possible, and to make sure that every user feels accommodated when talking with an AI. You also have to know your users. This is really important because I worked for a project, international project, that where users have in different countries will have different levels of digital literacy. So users with low digital literacy will often be suspicious of new technology and when engaging with that technology, while you'll find in other countries with higher levels of digital literacy, they will probably accept it more. And it can be a useful tool to increase engagement with a brand or a client, with your stakeholders. But you always have to be very, very careful with biased data and being empathetic with users, to not just deliver the data that you're trying to find or know more about, but also to expand a little bit more on it and try to figure out their needs, what they're actually, because a lot of the time we all think that we need something, but a lot of the times we need someone else to tell us what we actually need. So chatbots can be a really great tool for that, especially when dealing like with government websites where we don't actually know what we need, because it's so complicated, and chatbots can be really useful to get around that. And we also have to make sure that to keep humans in the loop. We can't just deploy a chatbot or any other type of AI in the wild and hope it will just work. It won't. I think moving forwards with this technology, one of the biggest steps that we need to make as an industry, and I'm placing this weight on the shoulders of mostly of our clients, is that after a project is launched, we need to have a bigger focus on accompanying the project. It's not, sometimes nowadays we launch a project and we are out. In other projects, we're a month in, 2 months period, 6 months sometimes, if we're lucky, and then we're out. This type of projects, they have to be the other way around. We have to spend a lot more time after they have been launched to make sure that we're getting good feedback from users, if we're getting good ratings, if data is actually being parsed and presented correctly, if we can identify needs that the chatbot couldn't address, so we have to educate it to also be a tool of an educational tool. So if I'm searching about laws to pay my mortgage to the state, like a tax or something, the chatbot should be able to not only deliver the information that I'm looking for, but also to educate me in other types of complex interactions I have to do with the state. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we have to dig in coming in the future, and the future is arriving fast. So we all should be prepared to deal with that, and I think it's a big responsibility for us as designers to be prepared, and we all have the responsibility to know more about this tech and not let other industries like technology or engineering to dictate what these technologies will deliver to our users. We're the big bastions for people, so we need to continue to do our jobs in a more abstract level, I think.
Yes, totally. I think we're gonna go a little bit deeper on the ethical issues as well, but that's definitely something we need to be aware. Jason, do you want to add something here?
The only thing to add is that, humanizing a service does not mean putting a human face on top of digital technology, like the greeting that I made. Like chatbots have a pretty bad, they're known as being not very good generally. They're getting better now with the large language models, but they just have not, and there's ways to navigate that, right? So if your chatbot is not very smart or not very good, then from a design perspective, right, then don't put very personalized words in your chatbot, right? Like, hi, I'm John, happy to meet you. I know everything about you. If you don't know everything about me, and if you don't really know anything, then don't even greet me or have a name. Just say, what do you need to, what can I help you with? Or even don't even use I, right? Input your question here, right? So there's ways to even how we're designing, setting those expectations, there's ways to mitigate that. So.
To continue to do this work, this work of creating services or process more with more empathy, more ethical, like Luisa is saying. What are this is the question about the ethical, okay. What do you think it could be a better practice to continue this job? Associating, of course, the artificial intelligence, but using them smarter, using them for doing good, using them for create services and good process and good services for the person, for people, for community, for cities, schools, and so on. What you both think that could be a best practice for us as a service design, as a designers overall, usability designers, product designers, service designers, doesn't matter, as a designers.
Just to jump in here, George, if you don't mind, so 3 things off the top of my head. I'm going to write them down as I say them so I don't lose what I'm talking about. The first is around the actual, and I sort of hinted at this in my presentation, which is the humans behind the AI. So ethically, we need to remember, actually, The Verge just came out with, here, I'll share my screen really quick. Let me share. So it's an article here called AI is a Lot of Work. As the technology becomes ubiquitous, a vast tasker underclass is emerging and not going anywhere. So there's a whole underclass, there's a whole group of people that get paid little money to help the chatbot, to help the models become better. So we have to remember that fundamentally on the technology, right, there's this underclass, as the article calls it, helping support the technology. The second piece is that companies often look at AI and chatbots as a cost-saving tool. And really, and I've attended a bunch of different talks over the last couple months, and really, that's the wrong way from a design and even a business perspective to think about it. They're really a augmenting tool. So if you're just thinking about, okay, if we put a chatbot in, we can now fire the contact center, the call agents. That's the wrong way. The way to think about it is, if we have a chatbot or even an automated voice, the call center agents don't have to answer the same question 60 times a day of how do I reset my password? How do I reset my password? How do I reset my password? Now they're freed up to focus on the more complex challenges. And now your capacity improves. And you can have better service as opposed to just more efficient. So that's kind of the big that was the second point. So the work is behind it. And then I would say how to make ethical services is to be very transparent. Jorge was talking about data. And there was a question in the chat here about, if we have biased data, is it possible to build unbiased data? To be really transparent as an organization when, about the data that you're using, and then when you're using, when a person is interacting with a robot or not. So like from the chatbot specific is, you should be very clear as a user when I know, okay, I'm talking to a robot or I'm talking to a person. Should be very clear. So those are sort of 3 ways that I would approach it.
Yes, it's actually a participant, Godinho, asked, I think is when George is talking regarding the data and database the biasness, if it is possible
Yeah.
to build an unbiased product. Jason
Jason
already
just-
gave an opinion, but George, what do you think regarding this?
No, I'm with Jason all the way. Yeah.
Okay, so good thing I don't know if your answer is if your question is answered, but if you have more doubts, please let us know here. We will. Okay, thanks. To other participants, if you wanted to leave a question, go forward. Okay, so we have prepared a few questions, but if you have any doubts, if you wanted to give any opinion, go for it. Louisa, I don't know if you have the next question. What are the possible impacts on the human workforce due to automation provided by artificial intelligence, and how we designers or other professionals in the digital companies and other companies, how we can mitigate these impacts, and which impacts do you think that we are talking about, or that we present, and probably the impacts that we will see in the future?
George, you can start on this one, please.
Yeah, sure. Well, with any new technology, there's always a fear for jobs being lost, and there are real fears. There's always a preoccupation of losing jobs, and but there are also other implications of how can we recycle or adapt people to new jobs, so to make them join this technology instead of segregating them from it. I think it's a big issue. It's something that unfortunately our governments have been really slow to adapt to. We don't have currently, I don't think there's a country in the world with regulation concerning AI. There's a lot of researchers that have been voicing their opinions that we need to do this. We need to make algorithms open and to the public, so they can be scrutinized on how they're working. And I don't know, it's a really complicated topic. I hope at least that we'll all listen to in the future to keywords like being paid to stay at home. So you lose a job, but the machine is paying taxes, so you can stay at home without a job. So the machines are actually paying for your job. This is the type of conversations that we'll have to have moving forward, because as a matter of fact, this type of technology will indeed force some jobs to evaporate from the job market. They will not be relevant. But we also have, as designers and professionals, we also have to try and invent new ways to bring people to this technology. Try to find new ways to incorporate more people in this workforce, to try and create a new workforce as well. It's a big responsibility that we all as a society must have in the future, and we as designers have to be on the front line of that conversation. We can't just when we're talking with stakeholders on including this type of technologies in a project, we have to make sure that we're using the right technology. Because sometimes clients will use just the latest and the greatest, and it's probably not the best suited for the job at hand, and it will take a long time to realize that, and during that time they already sacked a bit of their workforce because they were betting everything. It's really a big mess that we have to be educated in that sense to find out more about how everything of this ecosystem works, and how we can include it in our day-to-day jobs to educate our clients and stakeholders as well on it. Yeah.
What Georgie was mentioning reminded me of this idea, even just in traditional UX, which is like, it's not about the tools, it's about the process or the approach. And so, you know, paper and pen, pencil and paper is usually better than like Figma, right? You just jump into a design tool, make a screen, right? Starting with paper and pencil can often be more foundationally impactful. So yeah, that's the only other thing I'd add to this question is particularly like I in the US, there's a government research group called the National Bureau of Economic Research, and they're already, I can share in the chat later, but they've written this article on measuring the productivity of generative AI. And the quote from here is that, you know, with AI assistance, customer service agents could handle more calls per hour and increase their resolution rate. So there's groups that are already doing, and this was just in like kind of what we've been talking about, what I've been talking about, chatbots and whatnot. But you know, as George was mentioning, you know, it's coming fast, and you know how wise we are as a society and deploying this and approaching it is to be seen. So I really liked George's comments.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward for this optimistic version of the robots like paying taxes for me. Like I would appreciate this. I hope we go this. It's actually a theme that's already been discussed, right? So
yeah, Bill Gates is a big proponent of it. He started talking about it. It's the robot tax. But yeah, it's something that has to come from our governments and not from those with the money, because they want to pay less taxes, of course.
Okay, so we have one last question here. There's it's not on the, it's from the audience. There is from Linda. We'd love to hear your opinion about how service designer work might change with AI. I have heard of several tools such as persona creation with AI, journey mapping with AI. What are your thoughts? Do you have any thoughts on this?
Up to you, George. You want to go first, or should I go?
Go first. Yeah.
So I'm very cautious when about replacing any of the fundamental magic sauce of UX design, service design, UI design. It seems that the best use for designers is in augmenting iterations of things. And definitely maybe getting insight into things. So for example, perhaps if deployed well, something like a large language model, this is something that we're trying to push as kind of a big idea for the future. But what if you could take a lot of customer data, and then instead of spitting it out into a big dashboard report that you have to navigate, what if you could just ask it questions? What are pain points of customers? What are people complaining about, right? So I see one of the better uses of AI, you know, from a service design context is better access to information and data. But to George's point, it means you've got to have the data, and it has to be good data. From a like creating a persona. If that persona is coming from data from somewhere, great. But I've seen elsewhere where people will like go, hey, ChatGPT, I need to create a persona for a website for this thing. And so it's gathering things from, you know, the entire internet. But you lose the real magic of why you needed to have a service designer in the first place, which is like, okay, we're trying to solve the problem for our specific customer, not the entire internet, right? And we want to be differentiated, right? We don't want to just build the same thing that everyone else is building. So I found that it's really great for like, and even I'll give you an example, right? So I can come here, and I'll share my screen really fast, right? And I can go to ChatGPT and I can say, you know, create a persona for, someone give me a prompt. What's the problem we're trying to solve? What's the business? Give me something. We'll make it interactive.
Cat food.
Cat food, okay. I am, and what's the service like? What are we trying to deliver better? Because I can think of it from like a UX, but give me the larger context. We're trying to someone.
We're trying to build a Uber Eats app for cats.
Okay. I'm trying to build a website with a landing page for a service that is like Uber Eats, but instead it delivers cat food to cats. Can you create some personas of people who are cat owners? Okay, so I'm going to do that. I should use GPT. Okay, so it's going to generate the persona for me, right? Okay, so there's a busy professional Paula. Great, has 2 cats. Great. Now, this is nice from a like creative, okay, let me just stimulate the brain. But ideally, I'd want to be actually looking at our customer data to figure out, you know, real personas or interviews, user interviews, real people, right? And what I could do is I could take this here and I could say now, you know, I could go and create a website for the landing page, you know, pretty quick. But is that website gonna, you know, I can go here and I can say now, what are some value propositions that I should have on my landing page website? Okay, now let's see what it did. Okay, critical tool, convenience. Okay, highlight the, and even look at this. Highlight the time-saving aspect of your service. Emphasize how users can order cat food online, right? So it's giving me interesting stuff. Now I can take it to the next level. Let's see how eco-friendly practices, right? And now in closing, let's take it to the next level. Now I'm going to say create a landing page in HTML and CSS, and HTML, CSS, and HTML with inline CSS, and we won't do JavaScript, with inline CSS with the value propositions above. Create the page in Portuguese for a Portuguese audience. Okay, so that's going to be generating that over there. And now in the meantime, I'm going to go, so I'm kind of going off the rails here. No, I won't take it further, but look, it's generating the HTML for me, right? And then what I can do is I can go here, yes. Let's just open a new Visual Studio Code. Let's just go to the desktop. Let's create a new folder here really quick. And I'm just showing you, we're gonna call it SDN. Okay, and I'm gonna create a page index.html. Let's go back over here. Okay, let's copy this. Did they even give me any styling? Okay, let's paste this. Okay, now let's look at this. Let's copy the path. Let's go here. Come on. What's going on? Oh, because it's the I'm gonna have to. Sorry, it's let me just open it locally because it's not gonna. I need to generate. I will stop sharing my screen so I don't waste too much more time. At the end, I'll show the site. I need to generate a link for it, but that's my super long answer.
Yeah, I'm going just to add to Jason that to what he said, that as with any other tool, they're just tools. We still have to use our brains to find out how we can use them for good. AI is a very simple answer for presenting something that can at first glance look like it's perfect, but if you take a couple of seconds to look at it, you'll find out that it isn't great. So we always need to use them in ways to spark our creativity, and not as a final tool, a final output, so to say. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Jason and Jorge. We are almost without time. It was so fast, but we're still having like a couple of questions. I'm gonna ask Elsa to join us. That is also our third SDN member. So please, Elsa, continue.
Well, hi, everyone. So yes, as Lisa was saying, we have just one last question from the audience. The question is, how many years from now do you feel it will take to just prompt AI to do all the work accurately? And I'll add, is this something that we would want?
I'm going to jump in, try to answer this question. I've had a lot of discussions about this internally with my teammates, and it's a difficult answer to give. I think we divide in two major sections. There is the pessimists and the optimists. So pessimists, we were all out of the job. Moving forward, optimists, and this is where I'm aligned with. I think that our work will evolve. Hopefully, we'll work a little bit less hours in the day, hopefully, and we'll spend more time giving inputs and exchanging ideas and knowledge and unleashing our creativity, and less time doing busy work behind a computer, creating tons of layouts or wireframes or wherever, and more time talking with each other, with better information for us to base our own decisions. So yeah, that's my hopeful future. But it's something, again, I've said this before, but we really need as professionals to engage with our stakeholders when they adapt this technology, to bring them into this perspective, that they have a lot more to lose if they just decide to lose their workforce, and they have a lot more to gain if they bring their workforce and allow them to unleash their creativity and their judgment, and to allow them to use these tools as something that can help them instead of replace them. I think that's, hopefully we're heading there.
Yeah, just agreeing totally. I'd say the only thing to add is just to show you what I was trying to show before. Can you see my, oh, you can't see it yet. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So here's that little web page that was generated. over to the right, right? And I can even, what I did just now is I told it to add something, I told it to change. So I'm like, it generated the code for me. And then now I'm saying, hey, I want to do something different. I want to add some things in the carousel. Okay. And then it explained it to me so I can copy this here. And now I'm just going to paste this here. And then I'm going to save it. The problem before is that I forgot to save the file. Okay, it did something different. Okay, so this didn't quite work. So 2 points in this is that, number one, I've been playing with this in the past, and you still need knowledge. Even though it can write the code for you, sometimes it makes mistakes, or a lot of times it makes mistakes. So you still need to know code to use it to its best effectiveness. So we still need people, but it can make you super efficient. And I would think the same is for design. So there are apps out now that can generate like UI, UX. You can just say, hey, I need an app, tell me this, tell me that, and it'll spit out designs for you. But is it going to solve the right problem? Are the journeys going to be as simple as possible? Are you going to incorporate the needs for your specific business? Not unless you're controlling that and you really know what you're doing. So just echoing what Jorge said, it'll be really easy to show someone, on the surface, hey, we don't need any designers or developers. I can just plug this in. But there's a lot more value that's still needed for us. So.
Great, thank you, Jorge and Jason. I'm with you. I feel that we will need to adapt, but I don't think we will be running out of jobs. Actually, I think we still need human interaction, and not all the work can be done with just AI. So I'm with you. I don't know if we have any more questions. We do not. I don't know if we have any more questions from the audience. I don't think so.
We don't have any on the chat,
no, I think.
But feel free to open the mic and.
Okay, so yes, so everyone from the audience who, if you want to turn on your camera or open your microphone, just for us to meet each other. We are closing now our session. So, hi Linda again. So okay, so thank you for staying with us. Sorry, Ruth.
I was saying that Jason and George left here a lot of links. Some of them are articles, and other ones probably videos, I think. So it is a good start point to read more about it. So
yeah, and reach out if you have any follow-up questions.
Okay.
You can reach out for me on LinkedIn.
If anyone missed these links, so you have 2 or 3 minutes more to save it. But if you wanted to, we are on social media and on Gmail, so feel free to reach out and we will send these links for you too, okay?
Yes.
Jorge and Jason, if you want to share any your email or LinkedIn, I don't know, feel free to do it on the chat for our audience to reach out. And meanwhile, I want to thank you again for this session. I think we all had the feeling that was too short, right? Because it's great to hear you both talking about this. And I think that's a very interesting topic. And maybe we can do another calls and sessions to go deeper in some subjects, right? So thank you very much for being here with us one more time. Thank you all for being here during this time.
And let me just, I'm sorry, Luisa, let me just add something. We are on social media, as Ruth was saying. We want to do more sessions like this one. So if you have any topics that you would like to discuss with us, please leave us a message on LinkedIn or on Instagram with the topics you would like to discuss with us, and we can arrange that maybe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you,
Thank
Jason
you
and
all.
George, for accepting our
Bye,
invitation.
George,
Bye-bye.
Jason. If you want to say something, please.
It was great.
Very nice to meet you, Jorge. Very nice to see everyone, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.